Let's talk about education. I mean, one of the authors, I brought this book, your favorite author, Paulo Freire.
He's not my favorite author, but
One of your favorites.
Yes.
Yeah, I read it, and you mentioned him a lot in your life. And according to him, he says education is freedom. And in Nigeria, as we talked about briefly, our system of education is rotten. I mean, we talk about one of the things I struggled with when I went to the UK for my studies is that my first 2 years was a struggle. Because in Nigeria, when I went to uni in Nigeria, you're taught to just, if the lecturer tells you that A is A, in the exam, tell him that A is A. Don't tell him that A could be B, A could be C, or A could be something else. Just tell him that this is what he taught you in class. But in the UK system, it's entirely different. Western societies is a whole different ballgame. You have to critique, you have to analyze, you have to ask questions, you have to tell the lecturer, how did you get to the point where A is now A, or how A could become B. So for me, that system is one of the reasons why I believe Nigerians struggle, because if you can't criticize or analyze issues deeply, if you can't sit back and research and ask yourself questions of how did we get to where we are, how can we get ourselves out of this situation, then I don't think you even get to where you want to be in the first place. So when we talk about education in Nigeria, how do you think that we can solve or redeem it, or at least salvage it to a good point?
Well, I think this book explains that a lot in terms of how to fix education in Nigeria. That education in Nigeria now has to become Nigerian education. You understand what I mean? So an education that is exposing young people and young adults to the realities of their existence. Not what somebody somewhere feels they have to know, but what we as a community, a society, a nation have seen as our true lived experience. How do our children engage with those experiences, and how do they solve the problems of those experiences? You can go through school in Nigeria for 12 years, primary to secondary, you never hear injustice. That word, I never heard it in secondary school.
Me too, yeah.
Injustice. Nobody said it in my oppression. I never heard it. But it was our lived experience, it was our daily experience, going to school, police checkpoint, area boys this. When I was growing up, obtaining was the norm in Lagos. If you wear fine shoe last song, once boys see you, they go obtain. That was the word. It was the most important slang in Lagos when I was growing up. Obtain. You know? So when people are not exposed to the issues of their society, how can they be prepared to confront them? How can they be prepared to save them, to solve them? You know, and the fact that even in Nigerian universities, there's no Pan-Africanism as a course. You can't go to a Nigerian university and learn an Africanist course. You know, there's no African studies course to become true Pan-Africanist in our own, to understand ourselves, you know, to say I want to be a specialist in understanding my, you know. But we have European history, European literature, this nonsense that cannot help any African person truly solve African problems. We are being prepared to exist for Western ambition. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So the best job a Nigerian can have today is to work for Elon Musk, Apple,
Microsoft.
The fact that no Nigerian, no African ambition can lure anybody away from an offer from such people, you understand, is what our education prepares us for. That even our best athletes have no space in our. We can't engage with our best. The best Nigerian footballers, for example, hardly play for Nigeria. Maybe only Victor Osimhen is the only top world-class Nigerian footballer that are still chosen to play for the Super Eagles. You know, maybe because also he was born here and he didn't have the time to. Because every other person, every nation I watch, every big club has a Nigerian star that is not playing for Nigeria. That is playing for different country.
Saka, Arsenal,
and England.
Yeah.
Is it Alaba? Yeah. Real Madrid and Austria.
Yeah.
You know, what is the reason of why look at France national team? Yeah. Why can't Africa even engage its own athletes? You know, this is due to our educational system. You know, the fact that we are educated by our oppressors who want to educate us to serve them, not to serve our nation. So these are the things that we as Nigerians must overhaul. The curriculum of our education, how our children are taught, how they are made to feel, in what languages they are taught. These are the different things that we have to build on. Create. That's why for me, it is exciting to imagine a new nation. What can be more exciting? It is, for me, how a generation chooses to be great. That we have this opportunity as Africans. Also, is what I mean. Like, I think there's also a deliberate act by our oppressors to sieve the most stupid of us and then elevate them.
Yes.
So that people don't, and when you are following a stupid person, you don't see further than he sees.
Exactly.
7 divided by 0 is 7. BBN contender. They're going to give this person hundreds of millions. So why would young people want to learn anything? I told my daughter, will I use algebra when I grow up? All these things. They're already hearing it on the internet. I'm saying it's not because you will solve algebra. This is to help you solve problems. Yes. You are training your brain to be able to solve problems.
Critique issues, solve complex problems.
So embrace it. It might not be the problem you will solve in your adult life, but your brain will be prepared to engage with complex issues. You understand? So, but when you are raising a generation of people that think that preparing their brain for this doesn't matter if there's a shortcut to get comfort, that is what we are, this is the kind of people that they elevate in our society. When you even ask the rich people in this country, billionaires, how have you made it? They cannot give you a structured breakdown of their growth. It's God. God is immediately inserted into all the illegalities and moral shortcomings that led to this billion. God must, but he asked Bill Gates the same thing, being a capitalist, he will start explaining his IPO, exactly, because he's a capitalist. We as Africans that claim capitalist, we are not we don't have capital. How can you be a capitalist without capital? Nigeria was rebased. I always give this example. In 2015 by Okonjo-Iweala.
Yes, that's true.
The whole Nigeria economy was 505 billion. And that 505 billion has now shrunk as we speak by 70%. Right? Apple alone is worth $1.7 trillion. Trillion. That's to Nigeria. That's all of us can. Apple can conveniently. Yes. Whatever we are doing in Nigeria, Apple can do it for all of us twice.
Of course.
Twice. Apple can create a place with 2 Quilocks, 2 Aso Rock.
2 government houses each for each state. And they have cash reserves. So
listen.
They have cash reserves. Like cash on hand they can touch, they can use.
Listen. So when we are playing a game that we're already losing and thinking that we are doing something, so our education has to enlighten young people to these things and prepare them for this world. And the only way for you to prepare them for this world is to make them Afrocentric, to see solutions within themselves, to train them to solve our own unique issues. When we are still learning in our schools that Mary Slessor stopped the killing of twins. What kind of education is this?
Or that this guy discovered...
Mungo Park discovered River Niger. How? If you know that you want to train your children to think that they are too stupid to discover something, how can Mungo Park discover a river he met us swimming inside?
That was there for generations.
No. You met me in the river. I was swimming. My sister is washing clothes there. But you discovered it.
Fetching water and everything.
How did you discover it? You discovered it for the Europeans.
The Westerners,
We can't even teach our children that little nuance.
Yes. Yeah, those nuances.
How Africans helped him map and chart the entire river. His brother died in the journey. It was Africans that had to help him. He got lost how many times? One people, Lolo. So you now have to go and educate yourself about these things that give you pride in your ancestors and in yourself automatically. That shows you that your ancestors were not swinging from trees and being savages as your own education taught you. That, we are doing great things. I'm capable of great things. I'm capable of solving complex issues. Even in Nigeria today, anything complex, they go and call expatriates. Poor African people have to see rich white Europeans living in their country solving problems. You are building road, bridge, you see Europeans there. It's an image. It's an education. Because society educates. Education is not only in the four walls of the schools. There's the informal education that we give one another. The unwritten rule and unwritten codes of society, which is even more powerful than the written ones.
That goes to your consciousness, your inner being.
Any project, Igbo is there. You can't see black people doing it. We are too stupid. We are too not technically gifted. They don't want to say that it is the people that are extracting our commonwealth are not investing it in those things, not deciding to be big and grow and extend beyond your comfort zone. Is it by force that you must sell only things that we dig out of the ground or where we donate all our money? Is that the only business that is there? Who is going to be ambitious and start building to create things in this country? Begin to research and develop and invest their so-called billions in it for the betterment of it. Is this country that they are not Bill Gates and Elon Musk? Where's their Microsoft and Tesla? Where's their Apple?
The Amazon,
Where's their Amazon? What have they added to this country? They are not the same, but they want to behave like these people. So in order for us to be distracted, we too must be programmed to be behaving like those people and think is our natural state. Because if we know that we are not the same, maybe what we need to do will also be different. We won't be behaving mad like we are watching on TV, thinking it is how everybody must behave.
Yeah, I do agree.